Hello and welcome and welcome and hello and welcome and hello. Bienvenidos a todos. Hey guys, I am going to do a super quick update. I'm just not feeling that well, very congested. Hope everybody is having a great night. It is un poco mas, guys. I know I am getting really sick of making SMCI videos. I know you're probably getting extremely sick of watching them, but I wanted to make one more. This may be my last one. And I just explained to you, they are shorting the living hell out of the stock, but really can't push it down, can't kill the rally. They can't change objective facts. I mean, this is what happens. It's kind of the same thing that happened with SoFi. You short the hell out of a stock and just grind it down on vapor. And then at a certain point, you're exposed and market makers come in and then, they tend to run the stock up. But with this one, again, if you see the rally back here, that came up off of 1718, you see the volume come up again. Volume tops out here, on about December 2nd. And by the time the rally tops out and peters out and they're just sucking in, random Tom, Dick, and Harry's at the end here, the volume has already dropped out of the stock. Now, contrast this but with what we've seen the last 3 days and keep this volume pattern in mind when we look at the short volume ratio and what's going on with the official short report. And you'll see not only is the rally not over, but there's a ton of buying pressure on the stock and shorts really don't know what to do. They have to kill, they're trying to defend 40 this week because there's a ton of volume on the calls at 40, these short data calls. And I really don't like it when retail buys these weekly calls because it provides the market makers who are bearish and short, I think, with a lot of capital that they can then use to sort of step on the stock and offset their losses on that side when they tend to short into, positive fundamentals, or they tend to be wrong. Now, people are still saying, hey, they might not file. I find that very hard to believe. I mean, they have the numbers. The basic thing they have to do is come to terms with the auditor and take their medicine if the auditor says, but just, well, I don't really want to go into that. We've talked about the fundamentals till we're blue in the face. A lot of people can explain that better than me. But if you start to look at the volume, guys, this begins to step up. 82 million, comes down 66 last few days, 72, and then 135 million, 153 million, and then 160 million today. And you see these red candles. Listen, yesterday's candle was engulfed here. You see Monday, you had a low of 37 and a high just below 43. Today, you have a low of basically 39 and a high of 43.62. So you're actually making higher lows last 3 days, and today you're making a much higher low and a much higher high than you had on this huge pump day Monday, and you have more volume. Okay, now let me show you the short interest. Let me show you guys the short interest. I like to talk with my hands. No, guys, I'm excited, and I'm really pumped up because I have a mini water. I don't know why mini water is just so idiotic. Like, who just it's like, they call me cornbread because I'm moist, doughy, and I crumble under pressure. But this show is a lot like a mini water because it's just pointless. Like, it's unnecessary. It's superfluous. It's just like, I don't know who can't handle a 12-ounce bottle of water. I can only drink 8 ounces. I have a medical condition. If I drink 9 ounces of water, I'll drop dead on the spot. God is my witness. All right. All right, Grandpa, here's your mini water. Oh, thank God. They, 12-ounce curls. Those of you like, they used to talk about those beer drinkers, 12-ounce curls. Well, got an 8-ounce curl. You just do more reps. Anyway, guys, welcome and hello and welcome to those of you who have the misfortune of joining us on this broadcast. I don't want to take you through all the news. You can read that on your own, but I just want to give you my conspiracy theory on the short. Okay, let me start where I never start. That's the official report. Okay, so this number reflect the end of January. This is published yesterday. They're about 2 weeks behind. The short went up from 15% of the free float to 18% of the free float, 77 million shares to 92 million shares. So that's a huge increase. And then look at what's been happening. Yesterday, they borrowed 21 million shares to attack the stock today. If this was bad, if this was really bad, they were going to drop this stock 10, 15% today. Count on it. They couldn't do it because there was tons and tons of buyers coming in to the stock. Okay. Look at the shares on loan. 183 million shares on loan. Short interest of free float, almost 20%. These are like penny stock numbers. I mean, shorts were wrong on this one, and Uncle Chucky was in full command, and people are still saying, oh, they're not going to file. There's still certainly risk until these filings are accepted by NASDAQ. They take the threat of delisting away. It's there. It's an overhang on the stock, but that's more than priced in. It's priced in, then kicked in the nuts, taken out back of the bar, beaten up, robbed, thrown in a dumpster. It's priced in and then some, you weak sauce turds. How priced in do you want it? It's un poco mas, by the way. Yeah, call Wall at 45 and 40. You're telling me. What's up, Alberto Bertie Avilés? What's up, the great Naughty Lurker, J Money? Thanks. Both our wrenches are here. Yes, use reminisce. Finally, my financial advisor. Oh, that's scary. Absolutely scary. The great Carl Seamark is here. Javier. Tula Luna, what's up, Javier? Hope you're having a good one. It's the great Alfredo Perez. I like your fettuccine. Let's go. I like it with chicken. I like it with shrimp. You know what a fat guy needs? Just a giant oval shaped 14-inch plate of fettuccine with like 3 pounds of cream sauce. Oh, this is delicious. What's in it? It's Parmesan cheese, butter, cream, salt, and then just 3 pounds of pasta. Is there any way I could also get some garlic bread with that? It's like, oh, certainly. Anyway, guys, it's not good. It's not good. Why do I think about food so much? What's wrong with me? I'm thinking about a cheeseburger right now. Oh, I don't know. God help me. Anyway, guys, if I'm not thinking about stocks, I'm probably thinking about oh, it's a sad, sad world. Anyway, guys, welcome and hello. I won't bore you with my food fantasies, but it is getting to that hour where Danny wants chimichanga. Anyway, yeah, you're absolutely right there, Phoenix. The call wall is very real. What's up, Mongo? Hey, almost 4K. Yes, we're almost at 4K, guys. It is extremely exciting. We got Night 00. Yeah, we love the vids. Thank you, Night 00. Appreciate that. And I think we're all up to date on the comments. Let's see. Yes, we have the great Naughty Lurker checking in. I already read your comments, Naughty Lurker, but you can never get enough Naughty Lurker. That's for sure. I have the limited edition Naughty Lurker hat. It's limited to 1, so that's about as limited as you can get. But anyway, guys, what I wanted to just show you since those official numbers came out. So we were at 20% of the free float being shorted, and then we had double that amount almost on loan. So they're borrowing 37% of the float. And then keep in mind, institutional ownership and insider ownership has only gone up. I mean, just look at what happened. Look at the narrative. They're saying, okay, the stock goes all the way down to the 17s. Insiders who have most of their net worth tied up in these shares, this whole family, they have to be, shitting bricks, right? They have to dump everything, just try to preserve some wealth, try to, preserve their blue blazers with brass buttons and, whatever else their screaming tree, orphanage sanctuaries they make, organic wines in and get sauced and count their money or whatever. I don't know what they're doing, designing liquid cooling racks in their spare time. But the point is this. If they pump the stock all the way to 48 into the 40s and the stock is hanging around that level for several days, why don't you see insiders dumping in mass at those levels? They have plenty of shares that aren't, encumbered. They could have dumped millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of stock on the open market. You don't see that, but you see insiders buying. So since this point right here, which is the last time we check in, this is the last time, short volume ratios below 37. And it doesn't really matter right here because look at the aggregate volume. If you look at the total volume, aggregate total volume, this is always half of what's listed on Ortex. So if you look, the last few days, you'll see 160, 153, and then 134. And then you come over here and it's like exactly half of that. Basic, not exactly, but these numbers are aggregated from all kinds of different sources. So these are basically estimates, not estimates, but they're not, it's not an exact science. You don't want to know how they make these donuts. You don't want to know. It's not a pretty picture. There's a lot of stuff in that dough, a lot of lies, a lot of bullshit. But the important thing is look at the last 3 days when the volume just goes insane, and the 3 days before that when the volume is up substantially. Most of these days, the aggregate volume is like 11 million, 20 million, 20 million, 10 million, 15 million, 16 million, 11 million. And then the 3 days before that, it just 40, 30, 35, and then doubles again, 65, 55, and then up to 80. So these aggregate short volume, all this shorting becomes far more significant the last 6 trading days because volume is so much higher. So they have to sell a ton of shares short to keep the price here. That's what's going on. How does a stock, forget the fact that this is just poised for a breakout, it's making higher lows, volume is increasing almost every day for the last 7 days. How do you take a stock and you're trading, over a quarter of all the shares that exist in one day and the stock moves $1? They pop it up to what, almost 44 and then push it all the way down to 39. Look at these intraday moves. Does this look like organic price action to you? Or does it look like Fugazi price fixing, tiny wang bullshit? And then the algo just holds on the rest of the day with a ton of buying pressure coming. People are buying this stock at this market cap. Unless you have your head completely up your ass, you see that this is undervalued. If you're not afraid of risk, and until they actually file and BDO signs off and NASDAQ accepts, there's a lot of risk here. Anybody who thinks all that risk is gone, you're stupid. That's why they were able to hold 40. But the fact that they were, struggling to keep it here, yes, you're absolutely right on the call wall. Call Paul Wall. We got a call wall. So 40, you see the volume here. 58,000 contracts, and then down here, 55,000 contracts, open interest. Also quite significant. Are they going to be able to hold on to this? I don't know. They're gripping hard, as Jim Rome used to say, Van Smack, gripping. But anyway, this is a very bearish article from Livy Investment Research, basically differentiating facts from distinct. He's basically saying, hey, they could very well not file. And he turns the 700 million, he or she, I don't know. He turns the 700 million capital raise into a negative. Now they raised capital at, blue chip, mega cap terms. Is like, there's nothing unusual here. The same people that bought their bonds were happy to give them another $700 million. But this article turns that into a negative by saying if there's a fundamental change, like say be delisted, then all of their, senior secured notes become payable all at once. And that would be $2 billion. And they only have $2 billion in cash, even with the money raise. So they could, it's a bunch of fucking gibberish. They're as long as their business is in good shape, their debt holders are not going to demand all their money in cash all at once, all in one day, like a bank run. What is this? It's a Wonderful Life? No, your money's tied up in his house, Mr. Wheeler. No, I bought heroin with your money, Mr. Mr. No, I'm supporting my mistress with your, it's in Darcy's house. Man, if Jimmy Stewart is total degenerate. It's like the Bernie Madoff of, not Wall Street, but Main Street. Like, no, the more he's, Telegram, telegram. They just slap the handcuffs on him, drag him off to jail. Oh, God. I don't know. Where do I come up with this stuff, guys? I've just seen that movie so many times. Like, probably didn't go this way. Probably stole the money. Probably, nobody drops a big envelope full of cash. Got a big, gambling problem, drug problem, mistress. Something going on there. What about An Alternate Ending by Danny Deals? It's a realistic life. People have issues. Envelopes full of cash don't just, like Mr. Potter, I can't remember, guys. My brain is too old and dysfunctional. But anyway, what this guy's saying doesn't make any sense because they're giving them the money because they are confident in the business. They're not giving them $700 million because they hope they're going to immediately be delisted and default and have to pay it back in cash. This is so stupid. What they feed you guys is so stupid. It's incredibly stupid. And yes, the financials build on each other. So you have to have the 10K and the previous 10Q before you file the Q2 10Q. And it's all got to be filed by February 25th. And we're coming down to the wire. And everybody's, testes are sucked way up into their abdomen. Feel like you just got punched right in the duodenum. Tyson uppercut right to the taint. It's not a pretty picture, guys, but we've all been there on a Friday night. Oh, these mini waters will be the death of me. I've got a drinking problem, folks, and it's an 8-ounce mini waters. Oh, these are delicious and so refreshing. Great part is I can drink 5 or 6 of these and barely catch a buzz. Are you good to drive, son? You had anything to drink? Yes, officer. I've had 5 mini waters. About to pee my pants. Is there any way you can let me go with a warning? Yes, I've got a warning for you. Look a little chunky. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. America. I was reading like 75% of Americans are fat, like overweight, and then it's like half of people are obese. Let's talk about some real issues. Like, people don't want to talk about real issues. Too many of us are fat. It's like uncomfortable. Yeah, nobody wants to talk about it. Everyone wants to talk, hey, the real focus is, trans people in restrooms. Not the fact that we're all fucking dying of being fat, eating a bunch of fucking toxic bullshit. Anyway, guys, I don't know where my thought process, but I do love these mini waters. So read this article on Seeking Alpha. This is an extremely bearish article, but this is like the legalese stuff. This is like when the Chia Pet was hitting SoFi with legalese at the end of their, presentations. Holders of the new convertible notes have the right to require the company to repurchase all or a portion of the new convertible notes. This is like foreclosing on somebody who's making all their mortgage payments on time, because you don't like the underwear they wear. It's just like, now I know delisting could be very problematic. A cash repurchase price, 100% of the principal amount, plus any accrued and unpaid interest, if any, but excluding the applicable repurchase date. And yes, if they're delisted, that would be extremely problematic. Now, they do have to file on February 25, but saying it would not be impossible to be granted another extension, special extension, to at least possibly file the quarterly. I don't think they're going to need it. I think BDO had to sign off on those numbers. I don't think they would have gone out there and, given this business update if they weren't at least on the same page with their auditor. And I don't think they can get out here and say, we're going to file. Now, he's parsing the language between what the CFO said and what they said in their filings. And he's talking about how NVIDIA might not be allocating them, and Foxconn and, Dell, or, in high spirits, already GB200s, NVL 70. Listen, what these bears never talk about is the fact that when Uncle Chucky talks about liquid cooling, he's forgotten more about liquid cooling over the last couple of decades than any of these young pups will ever know. HPE, Dell, Foxconn, you can liquid cool these nuts. Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, it is just this short. When I see this, I think this stock is going to probably not make a huge move up this week. It's probably going to be next week when options clear the decks. But insiders weren't dumping, institutions weren't dumping, and the other interesting thing you see, in terms of institutional ownership is not only you see JP Morgan still in the mix with their shares, almost 1 million shares, Norgis in there. You also see Citigroup, 2 million shares, some kind of a straddle trade. CalPERS Systems, 600,000 shares. Again, these are all not new positions. These are conversions, but Mitsubishi, virtually, nobody's selling out during this period. Very, very few people. Marietta Investment. I don't even know who that is, but I don't know who a lot of these people are. But the point is, institutional ownership is very significant. Insider ownership is very significant. Big short on the stock, even more borrowing, and things went the wrong way for these bears. The notion that this isn't growth, that they guided for 23.5 to 25 when, the forecast was for 24.5. So they're really right in there. They're really right in there. Yes, EPS is going to be a little bit weak this year, but you're still talking about a company that sold more just this last quarter that they reported on than they did the whole year 2022. You're talking about that type of hyper growth. And they're pretending 54% growth year on year is weak, forecasting 65% for next year. And I'd like to also point out, management's telling you, okay, 40 billion fiscal year 2026, which starts July 1st, but they were forecasting for like 29 billion. So say that instead of hitting 40 billion, they hit 33 billion, way off of what management's telling you. That would still be, much, much higher than analysts' expectations. So the fact that 40 billion is ambitious, Uncle Chucky sat there and told you, laid out how they're going to get there and said, hey, this is very, very conservative. This business is cyclical. This runs in product cycles, the margins, the sales, and we're about to hit a huge ramp. And everybody's like, well, you can't trust what he's saying. I don't see why. I listened to the guy. He just didn't sound like he was lying to me. And that, crooked, slick CFO, he sounded pretty damn good too. So basically what I'm saying is everybody could just kiss my grits. These shorts are just digging a huge hole. And I think when the 10K comes and it's filed, I hate to say it because, I know half of you guys are playing pocket pool. So you already got a somewhat of a short squeeze going on in your own private life. But I'm just saying, guys, there's a big short on this stock for a company of this size, this growth rate, profitable. They have to pretend that the debt's problematic. They have to pretend they're in a cash crunch, and they don't need cash for rapid expansion and to service orders and to ramp Blackwell, which is what they need the cash for. It's all a Fugazi, guys. It's been a Fugazi. That's why they sold the shares, the highs, and then bought the shares at the lows on the backs of hardworking retarders, men, women, and children such as yourselves. The weak sauce turds that comprise the turd army, comprise my audience, comprise my life, my so-called life. Quote the great Claire Danes. Anyway, guys, I got an options wall brewing, and it's calling me to my other office, the secondary office. But anyway, guys, Billy Jack, what about, the price of eggs? It's crazy. I mean, all the business people, even a lot of the conservative people, Mitch McConnell is like, they don't want this trade war. Nobody wants a trade war with our allies that we have this deep integration with. It's just got to be the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Think that Charles planned to pump the stock, sell everything before February? No, I don't. He's an old man. This company is his life's work. He doesn't need the money. His family's already hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. They have an orphanage for overprivileged trees where they make wine. They don't need the money. Like, what's he gonna do? He doesn't want a mega yacht. He wants to build better liquid cooling. The guy's a nerd. He's a huge nerd. He's a genius. Respect the genius that is my Uncle Chucky. Yeah, he, up to some accounting fraud here and there, allegedly. Allegedly. What are you gonna do, guys? Nobody's perfect. We've all, distorted numbers, a few billion here, a few billion there. I know my last job when they fired me, I, walked away with a couple of $1 billion. It's around. No, I mean, yeah. Cheating on your accounting, all that stuff. I think what this was aggressive salespeople trying to move their commissions forward. This is very common in outside sales. When you have this hyper growth, people get crazy. People are on a lot of Peruvian wham. People are doing a lot of drinking. People are visiting a lot of strip clubs. People are traveling. People are on the road. People are in Motel 6s. People are eating a lot of cheeseburgers, a lot of fries, a lot of rental cars involved, a lot of calls home to the missus, trying to explain certain things, trying to explain your absence. You're working hard. Counting fraud, assisting employees watching porn, chest words for the Germans. Dude, hey man, your German sausage is your own concern. But if you drink, it will make your liver worse. Thanks for the belly laughs. Thank you, Richard Marks. I really like your song there in the Robin Hood movie with Kevin Costner. I'm getting just about sick of Kevin Costner. I'm getting really sick of how spiritual and cool everyone is in Hollywood. You guys. Hey, you're famous. I want to renegotiate my $600 million divorce. Yeah, cry me a river. I don't know. What the hell do I know? Yeah, price of eggs gone crazy. Anyway, guys, a few cash secured puts, pure cash grab. Yeah, the stocks, it's very, very strong. Again, guys, this is not how rallies end into increasing volume and higher highs and higher lows. This is not how this is an algo holding this here. And the algo's on the wrong end of things. And I think it's going to break. And when it breaks, the stock's going to make a huge move up. I think at least past that 48, 49 area. So we'll just have to see, guys. But anyway, really appreciate you guys watching. It's Un Poco Moss. Want to thank the great Nautilurker J Money. Would also like to thank the great wrench Alberto Bertie Avilés, Billy Jack, my rep down Texarkana, the great Phoenix, Richard Marks, and his long hair. It's so gorgeous. I know he conditions, uses a VO5 hot oil treatment on a nightly basis. Of course, Mr. Premium of the Option is here. Jack's back in my day would throw eggs, the cars, toilet paper, housing, trees. Way too expensive. Yeah, the high school kids can't even afford to vandalize things. That's how bad it's gotten. They have to sit there brooding on their phones like they're just disaffected youth. I'd hiding that beautiful mane is on or not a lurker. Yes, you guys want to see it. You guys want to see that receding hairline, that beautiful, shiny, receding hairline. There it is. I learned it from watching you, Dad. Yes. Don't like and subscribe. Mongo, the only short squeeze in his pants. Hey, that's my line, Carl. 35 strikes should be easy to narrow. And all of you, Edge, Mr. Proto. Come on, Poco. It's all just Velveeta shells and cheese. Don't be going on about Alfredo, your little cousin, the second nephew's uncle's brother. Okay, I can't even follow what the hell you guys are talking about. So 6 hours left at work. I'm like, oh, Carl, 6 hours without food. That's a life sentence for a man of my comport, man of my generous proportions. Let's see, is SMCI still so fly? I guess so. Hey guys, thank you so much. I got to get out of here. Your comments are absolutely worthless. It's Un Poco Moss. It's Danny Deals. Blah blah blah. Peace. I'm out.